Hello, I'm Dr. Shalini Shetty, eye specialist from Apollo Hospital, Bangalore. Welcome to a very different world where we are all in a new world where adults are working from home, children are schooling from home. Definitely, we all are using the computers, laptops much more than before. Most of us know there's a lot of side effects and ill effects due to constant use of computers. But computers are here to stay. Whether your child wants to become an astronaut or he just wants to drive a car in future, he'll need to know computers. Whether he wants to become a doctor or whether he wants to tell us stories, he will need to use the computers. So in this device-driven generation where they have to use the computers, let's see how we can minimize the effects of computers on our children. The first thing I would like to say is where and how is your child using the computer? We know that in schools, the desk and chair are designed for kids at appropriate age. But at home, we may not all have a workstation for our child. We never expected our child to be having schooling from home. So things have changed now. So there are no ergonomically designed workstation at home for kids. Most of them are designed for adults. So we'll see how best we can make use of the chair and desk what we have at home so that your child is comfortable and doesn't suffer from neck pain or back pain. Let's start with the chair. If you have a height adjustable chair, that's very good. But if you don't have one, you can see that your child's feet is flat on the ground and the angle at the knees is 90 degrees. If it's not possible, you can place a footstool or a small table or a box on your child's feet so that it is flat on the ground. Then the seat on which your child sits has to be very comfortable. It shouldn't be too soft or too hard. And remember the 1-inch rule. That is, there should be a 1-inch gap between the child's thighs, hips and around the chair. There should also be a 1-inch gap between the front of the chair and the back of your child's leg so that the chair is not pressing on the leg and not compromising on the blood supply, and that makes your child comfortable. The second most important thing is the backrest. It's very important to have a good backrest on the chair so that the spine is straight and doesn't cause a lot of problems. The next thing is how your child places the wrist. The wrist has to be flat on the table, and see that the keyboard and the mouse are easily reachable to your child. They do not have to stretch forward too much. And the angle between the arm and the forearm has to be 90 degrees or more, so there's no strain on the shoulder. So the thing I want to emphasize here is posture, posture, posture. Remember, the posture of yours or your child when working on a gadget is very important. Keep the head straight so that your ears, you can tell your child that the ears have to be in line with your shoulders, and that's a comfortable position for the back. Okay. Coming to the next thing, we've all heard about tennis elbow. So have you heard about text neck? Okay, this is the next thing which I'm going to emphasize on. For all you quiz enthusiasts here, I'll ask you a question. Do you know how much the adult head weighs? Is it 2 kgs, 3 kgs? No, it's about 4.5 to 5 kgs. And this whole weight of the head is borne by our neck bones and our neck muscles. So what happens when you tilt your head forward to reach out to your phone? So there's a neck tilt which occurs. There's a Dr. Kenneth Hensraj from the New York Spine Center has done extensive studies on what happens when our neck tilts forward. So for every 15 degrees tilt to your neck forward, your weight of your head on your neck almost increases 3 times. So for a 15-degree tilt, it increases about 15 kg, and when there's a 60-degree tilt, when you move forward, the weight of your head on your neck almost amounts to about 30 kgs. So just imagine what you're doing to your neck muscles and neck bones every time you tilt forward to check your Instagram post or chat with your friends. It not only puts strain on the bone of your neck, it also affects the muscles, and your shoulders also go into a rounded position, so it affects the muscles between your shoulder and causes also spine degeneration. So it's very important that when you have to do a lot of work, don't use your phone for it, whether your school assignment or reading a story or chatting with your friends for a long time. I would suggest use a desktop or a laptop so it's a little higher and more comfortable. If you have to use your phone, take it to your eye level and keep it at that level at which is comfortable and doesn't put too much strain on your neck. So this is very important to prevent too much strain on your neck, which can cause neck pain, backache, shoulder ache, which is one of the most common problems we see with long-term computer use. How you keep the monitor for your child is also very important. It's very important to keep it straight in front of you and not at the side, so the child's neck is not twisting around to see it on the side. The distance generally advised is about 20 to 28 inches. So a rough guide is you just stretch out your arms from this, and the computer screen should touch your fingertips. And it's always important that the computer screen is a slightly lower, 10 to 15 degrees lower than your child's eye, so that it's slightly looking down, because if it has to look up, then it causes a strain on the neck. Encourage your child to use the scroll bar so that whatever he or she is reading is in the center of the screen rather than up or down, so that they don't need to move your neck too much. Have a good quality computer screen, and the brightness of the room is also important. It should not be very bright or very dim. Normally the brightness of the screen should be same as the overall lighting of the room. And the AC or the window should not be at the front or the back of your child's screen. It's good to have a window at the side, so the light is coming from the side, and it also gives it a good time to look out of the window when he needs to take a break to look at objects far away. The next thing, from P's, let us move to the B's. So there are 3 B's which I'm going to focus on here. The first B is blinking. Okay, for kids who are watching this, have you seen a fish on the water or in aquarium? What do you notice about a fish's eye? The main thing is it doesn't have lids like how we do, because fishes are in water, so they don't need to keep their eyes moist. We have to blink. Blinking is a very important reflex which every time we do, it moistens our eye, and it also gives rest to the muscles inside the eye. We blink about 15-20 times a minute. That is almost 20,000-25,000 times a day. So that's very important to give rest to our eyes. And the research in Japan has also shown that when we blink, our brain gets rest. So, but what are we doing when we are using a gadget during screen time? Our blinking is grossly reduced. They've seen that people just blink 3 to 4 times a minute. So that makes your eye very dry and causes a lot of strain. Your eye is not getting that rest at that time when you blink. So that causes eye strain, headache. So it's very important to remind yourself to blink. Coming to the next B, that is break. In this memorable year of 2020, remember the 20-20-20 rule. That is, every 20 minutes, take a break for 20 seconds and look at an object 20 feet away. Basically anything outside your window. Teachers who are watching this, I would advise you to, tell your kids to take a break during school time. If there is a window nearby, they can look outside the window. It not only helps them take a break, it will also, break the monotony and help them to concentrate on classes better. So, and also take a water break during this time. There's also studies which have shown that when we stand up, it increases the good hormone, that is serotonin level in our body increases, and the stress hormone, that is cortisol, goes down. So it's good to take a break in between, whether it's an adult doing your office work or it's a child having school work. Coming to the next B is the blue light. There's a lot of discussion going on about blue light nowadays, and why are we discussing so much about it nowadays? See, blue light for kids here, it doesn't look blue. It's just part of the visible spectrum of light. It's one end of the high energy visible light which is there. But why are we talking about it nowadays is because blue light also comes from all our computer screens, from our mobile screens. Okay, it also comes from the sun. So that is where the blue light is important. For people who are Beatles fan, if you remember, there's a song by John Lennon called Good Night. And the lyrics which goes there says, when the sun turns its light down, it's time to say good night. It's time to sleep basically. So what happens is when the sun, before advent of all these lights and gadgets, our sleep pattern was guided by the sunlight. So when the sunlight goes down, there's a sleep hormone which is released in our body called melatonin. But what have we done now? We have confused our brain completely. So the blue light which comes from our gadgets thinks it's still, our brain still thinks it's daytime, and so the sleep hormone gets disrupted. Our whole circadian rhythm gets disrupted. Kids are sleeping much later, and because of this, they don't get good sleep. So sometimes, many of you teachers and parents notice that your child can't concentrate in the class time during the morning hours. It's not because they are bored with the subject or something. It's probably because he or she has not got a good night's sleep. So it's very important. Sleep is a very important aspect, not only in your child's health, but even in your health, so that you have a fresh day next day and you can concentrate on your work. So see that your child gets good sleep, doesn't use his or her gadget a couple of hours before he sleep, so that his sleep cycle is maintained and does not affect his sleep rhythm. Blue light not only affects your child's sleep, but also blue light causes a lot of flickering and scattering and thus can cause eye strain. So that comes to the question of computer glasses. Computer glasses help the child look at the computer with less strain, and it also cuts out the blue light which comes. So it is advisable for kids who are using the computer or gadgets a lot to have a computer glass with a blue filter. So it's important to schedule an eye examination with your eye specialist so that the child's eye can be examined for any eye problems, and your doctor will be able to advise whether you need a computer glass with prescription or without prescription. Your doctor will also be able to advise any artificial tears for your child if it has dry eyes, so that it can reduce the eye strain. So I think with this COVID issue occurring, we have a lot of time. Lot of us are working and staying at home, so it's a good time to spend a lot of time with your children. Have a screen detox time when they don't have any time using any of their gadgets. Try to do other things with your child, like listening to music or gardening, or I've realized that cooking is a nice thing which you can spend with your child. In fact, for smaller kids, it's a nice way to learn maths. You can ask your child to count eggs, that's a good way for the smaller kids to learn maths. Pouring liquids is helping them to learn maths again. And you never know, you maybe have a celebrity chef at home who can take that as a career. So think of other things. Think of gardening, where you can help your child see how vegetables grow. Even in the urban areas like Bangalore or a city where we may not have much space, there's a lot of terrace gardening which is happening, and encourage your child to do it. And we know most of our kids are picky eaters. So when you allow them to cook with you, or allow them to do gardening, they'll realize how important food is and how it's important to eat healthy food. So a few things just to remember at the end: have limited screen time. Keep us limited screen times, so that they know when they can use the screen time. Spend more time with your kids. Posture is very important. Drink enough water and encourage them to eat healthy food, and take breaks whenever they can. It's very important that they take sufficient breaks. There's always a question that a lot of my patients ask is how much screen time a child is allowed to use. There's no fixed time, but just as a rough guideline, I would say kids below 2 years should not use screen at all. So your child below 2 to 3 years should not use any gadgets. From 3 to 6 years, I would say 1 or the maximum 1 to 1.5 hours with at least 2 breaks in between. And for a kid from 7 to about 12 years, I think 2 to 3 hours, and about 13 years, because of the school time year, we'll say about 6 hours. But the most important thing here is break. So every half an hour they have to have a break. And it's not only the quantity of time, but it's very important the quality of what they're watching. So it's always good to sit with your child when he's using the gadgets and interact, so you know what your child is seeing. So I hope all these is helpful, and you can always reach out to us if you all have any queries. Thank you.